Okay, we are harvesting our sweet potatoes in earnest now, or at least we're trying to. And so what I wanted to show is what we're doing. We have 72 sweet potato plants of Covington sweet potatoes, which are on these two rows here, which the vines are kind of dying out now. And then on the third row over there, which is next to where the watermelons were, which are the green parts, those are purple sweet potatoes. One of them I know is a Japanese kind. I forget what the other kind is, but Andrea ordered those slips. So those got planted later, which probably is why they're still green. So the idea is I want to harvest those while the vines are still green, so I can give them to the sisters and they can have fun. Because unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be able to give these to the sisters or not, because there's just not that many leaves on them left. And hauling the vines all the way up there and then putting them in the coop and then getting them back out is just not my idea of a good time. So what we did was we put the sweet potato slips in our rows. And so if you can see the rows over here, the rows are about 30 inches wide and we have about 2 feet in between them. And we have sandy soil here, which is good for root crops. And so we just put the slips in, we put them about 2 feet apart, and then they just had fun all summer long. And of course they went anywhere and everywhere. And with sweet potatoes are, the vines go across the ground, and then every so often there's feelers. And if the feelers hit dirt, they'll go back into the ground, create more roots, and then create more sweet potatoes. So we will probably have sweet potatoes all over the place, but right now we're just concerned with the actual root ball itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start using the pitchfork to get this out to show you typically what we've been getting off of every single plant. Okay, so I've used the pitchfork a little bit and have rustled the dirt up. So now we got our sweet potatoes. And so just getting them in here. Typically around the root ball, you'll get the most amount of sweet potatoes. Now with the sweet potatoes, we've been getting these little stringy things here. So obviously we're not going to eat those, but we've been saving those, and then we give them to the guys. And so sweet potatoes are really good for dogs, and the guys love sweet potatoes. So we got a whole mess of them in the house, and we give them to them whenever we can. So let me continue to do this and see how many we can get out. Okay, so out of the 7 plants we've gotten so far, this is by far the least amount we have gotten on each plant. Most of the time, we get at least 1 sweet potato. That's probably about the size of half of all of this combined. So it's kind of interesting that this plant actually produced less than normal. Now don't get me wrong, this is a lot of sweet potato, but this is less than what we have been getting. So let me get another one and let me see what that is.
Okay.
All right, so here's the next one. What I've been doing is the sweet potatoes can start pretty much anywhere. So I go in with the pitchfork, make sure I don't get any resistance, go down, start lifting. And so sometimes you get some on the outer. Okay, this is typically what we get on sweet potatoes. And so this size of sweet potato is not unusual from what we've been getting. And so I hadn't even gotten to the root ball yet. Alright, so it looks like this one's going to make up for lost time from the other one. Okay. Alright, that's pretty much about it for this one. So, that's 2 more down. And so we have about 59 more to go. Okay, so here's, I think, 4 sweet potato plants. As you can tell, Sherlock is extremely impressed. And if I don't watch him like a hawk, he'll start snitching them for me. So what I was going to do is give him a sweet potato and then come over here and give Lady Pants a sweet potato. Lady Pants. Here, Lady Pants. Yeah, hold on. All right, Andrea finally gave Lady Pants a sweet potato piece, so now she's happy. Sherlock, of course, ran over there and gave, oh, and then there's a sweet potato already making slips for next year. So sweet potatoes are different than regular potatoes because with regular potatoes, they have the eyes and then basically they become poison, at least the eye parts. Sweet potatoes are not a nightshade, they're morning glory, which means that you can eat the sweet potatoes.
Like spinach.
Andrea said if you wanted to, you could humans could even eat the leaves of the sweet potatoes like the spinach. I know chickens can eat the entire sweet potato. Now with chickens, since they don't have teeth, if they have an actual sweet potato itself, you have to like parboil it to mush it up a little bit to get it softer. But once you get it soft enough for them to just drive their beaks into, they go absolutely ballistic for sweet potatoes. So that's probably what we're gonna do with that one. So now what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take all of this and we're gonna put them in our bread crates that we got that are kind of like the ones we did last week. It was our intention to be doing this all week, but we kind of got distracted with Andrea's mother's staining this week, so that's why we're doing it now. But anyway, we're gonna put these into the bread crates and then we'll be back. Okay, and here they are. We have 3 rows of sweet potatoes here. The big ones are on top, and so we just took a bread crate and inverted it on top to try to keep that thing from coming in, because if we leave him to his own devices, he will be in here snitching sweet potatoes. We're trying to come up with a Sherlock anti-greenhouse device right now. That's what the CMU blocks are for. So I'm going to call this a success. So see, we had 61 minus 4, so we're at what, 57 now? So we got 57 more to go. I don't know if we're going to be able to get all of them in these bread crates or not, so we might have to do it in more than one batch. But pretty much what we have to do, sweet potatoes to cure, hold on. Sweet potatoes to cure take about 2 weeks in high heat, high humidity. Good thing about this greenhouse, if the humidity gets too low, all we got to do is just take a hose and just throw some water on the floor here, because these are elevated up 16 inches, and that by default will raise the ambient humidity. The temperature yesterday got about 82 or 83 with having just this side of the greenhouse open, which was the west side. The temperature in the greenhouse, because of the shade cloth, got up to about 91 or 92. If we had the shade cloth open, it would be about 87. Or not the shade cloth. If we had the other end open, it would be about 87. But we're having to close these at night because it's been getting colder. So I'm trying to not open and close these doors any more than possible. But anyway, the short version is we'll have to do this for about 2 weeks. Then the sweet potatoes will be cured. And then if we have to do another batch, we'll do another batch. Then the problem is going to be what we're going to do with them after we get done. But that is a future me problem. Okay, so since I've been lazy and not have sent the other video out with our sweet potato escapades, wanted to tack this on to the end of the video. And so what I'm showing you now, this is the rest of the row of the one row of sweet potatoes. As we got further down the row, which would be towards the tree line, we ended up with less and less sweet potatoes. Whereas we harvested 9 plants yesterday, and we had less sweet potatoes out of that than we did doing 4 plants when we were earlier in the row. So this does not include the ones we did about a month ago, which are inside, which that was, I want to say 3 of these bread containers. And so I just wanted to show you how many sweet potatoes we have now. Now the top row here has the big ones. Hey, you, out. And so not every sweet potato is that big. But I also wanted to show you, that's Andrea's Okinawan sweet potatoes here. Those are Japanese sweet potatoes. And so we got those down in the corner over there. So now we're getting ready to go out, do more sweet potatoes, and start in on the other row. So maybe one of these decades we can finally be done harvesting sweet potatoes.